Well, good evening, friends. Welcome back to another Quarantine Cast with Brian, Cody, and Craig. As you can see, it is just myself, Brian, and the aforementioned Cody Goff. Craig is not going to be with us tonight. He has some family issues that he is attending to. He will be back with us next week. So that is why Craig is not here. Before people are like, hey, wait, you told us Craig was going to be here. Craig's not here. Hi, Cody. How are you? It's been a couple of weeks.
I'm good. Happy belated Thanksgiving to you. I hope it was
and
nice,
to you,
lovely and beautiful, and you got to spend it with family in person, perhaps.
Well, Debbie and Molly were here, and the dogs, so that was in person. Hi, Gene. Gene jumping into the chat. You can always jump in the chat as well. We are on Facebook Live and YouTube, so that's that. We'll have some news about the this as the audio podcast. We have news on that too, so a lot to get to. Yeah, I mean. Where do we start? Do we start with Thanksgiving? Because why not? Do we start with the fact that the world is afire because of a virus? And while some people are paying attention, some people are not, including people who are having a big Christmas gathering last night at the White House with almost no masks. I don't know if we start there. You and I both.
Wait, what about Wicker Park? Didn't they just bust a 300-person party in Wicker Park on Division?
Yeah, we don't have to travel to D.C. for stupidity. We got stupidity right here in Chicago. It's very exciting.
Yes.
So you got 300 people at a party. That gets cracked down on. The visuals from all the major airports with people flying to and fro. And now today, all the doctors, the head of the CDC coming out and without saying, hey, you selfish jerks, he basically said, hey, you selfish jerks, if you traveled, you need to, 1, stay away from anybody over 65 or with any kind of health conditions. 2, you have to separate yourself from everybody for at least 10 days. And 3, you got to get tested right away. So I hope the giblet gravy was worth it. Jerks.
The what gravy?
Giblet gravy. You never had giblet gravy?
I don't think I have. What is giblet?
Giblet is, yeah. Well, you didn't cook turkey. We'll get to that, but you didn't. If you buy a turkey, there's always a plastic bag with its innards. With its giblets and whatnot inside the turkey. And then some people cook those up and add them to their gravy. I don't like gravy, so I never make it. But yeah, that's where the giblet gravy comes from.
You don't like gravy?
I don't like gravy.
How does that work?
I am I like biscuits and gravy. I like yeah, that's basically it with gravy. I like a brown gravy when I make a meatloaf, I make a brown gravy, which I like because instead of using a cup of water with the gravy mix, I use half a cup of water and half a cup of wine. And so it gives the gravy a little zang. But like with turkey and stuffing and stuff, I never liked gravy.
No. Yeah, no. That's not acceptable.
That's a lot of words that have no structure for a sentence.
No.
John, what kind of commie doesn't like gravy? This commie, baby. I'm wearing red. I'm all commie all the time.
When I was growing up, my plate would be like 75% mashed potatoes and just gravy just all over it. That was my jam.
Now I was willing to make gravy. Giblet gravy was Tom's radio name in high school. Good one, Tom. Very nice. Cindy, hello. Barbara, hello. Chris, hello. I said, if you guys want gravy, I'll make it. Or I'll just cheat and buy a bottle of Heinz Homestyle gravy mix and heat it up. But Debbie and Molly don't want gravy either.
All right, that's fine.
We like our food dry.
Speaking of gravy and being dry, what you drinking tonight?
Oh, I'm drinking this in honor of you. Just so's you knows. And I think with that sales pitch, you know what I'm drinking.
I know what it is, yeah. Well, I don't know what variety.
I am drinking a 2018 original Bourbon County Stout.
A 2018, interesting.
2018, that's right, 2018. I'm going back a little bit from my extensive cellar, which is the third shelf of the refrigerator.
Very nice.
This has been in there, so all right. So I'm drinking this. I did buy a bottle of 2020 original the other day at Walmart. I went into Walmart and they were like $10.50. And I was like, well, I can't pass that up. I know I may be buying a couple more, but I was like $10.50 for a bottle. I'll get it at Walmart. But so I put that in the fridge. I was going to drink that tonight. And I was like, well, wait, I have a couple 2018s. One is in the fridge. I'll drink that so that my Patricia's saying the best part of the meal is the gravy. Please.
Dude,
going the stuffing, not the gravy. I don't know. I've always heard giblet gravy. That's what I've heard. Chris Flanagan, turkey gravy only good on mashed potatoes, like an Alpine Lake. See, all you gravy people, you use enough butter in the mashed potatoes. You don't need any gravy. Anyway, so I decided I would go with the 2018 tonight, and the reason I'm doing this, and we'll get back to Thanksgiving, because a lot of this happened. Well, this all happened, I guess, after Thanksgiving. So let's do Thanksgiving first. Then we'll talk about your need for an intervention. What are you drinking tonight?
I'm very excited about this. I haven't even taken a sip yet, but I just cracked it open. During some of my extreme and excessive, which we'll talk about later.
Yes.
Bourbon County Stout hunting. I got the pre-order for our good friends at Beguile Brewing 2020.
Oh, yes.
Barrel-aged Imperial Pajamas.
Their Imperial Pajamas 2019, I believe, was award-winning.
When we went to FOBAB last year, the Festival of Barrel-Aged Beer, that's where I discovered Imperial Pajamas. And I have a list. I still have a little notepad list that I wrote down all my favorite beers from FOBAB.
Okay.
I can't find any of them, right? A lot are limited release, or they're regional and they're not from Chicago, or they're seasonal or whatever. So like after FOBAB, I couldn't find a single one. This year I found out Beguile was doing their pre-sale, and I got not only this, but they have a vanilla variant. Yes. And they have some other special variant aged in some special barrel.
Is it a Christmas one? No,
they're all Imperial Pajamas. They're all labeled Imperial Pajamas.
Right.
Two variants. But
no, I still have a bottle of 2019 barrel-aged Imperial Pajamas downstairs.
Oh, you do?
Of course.
Where'd you get
because as I mentioned the last time, I like to get them, but I don't want to drink them because then they're gone. So I'm in a weird thing where I want to get a couple of these beers, but then I'm afraid to drink them, which is, again, back to why I'm drinking the 2018 tonight instead of the 2020, because I have another 2018. How is the Imperial Pajamas?
It's excellent.
It is excellent.
And then the folks at Beguile were very thankful when I did the pickup. They're very grateful for any business they're having right now. Good folks over there.
They're great. Kevin Carey is the owner of Beguile Brewing. We've been they've been one of the easiest when I've ordered stuff to go and pick up. And I've done it from Beguile since this has started a number of times. I'm actually going to get some of their Christmas ale in the next few days. So yeah, they do a great job over there. A lot of everybody that I've dealt with is doing a really good job of either curbside pickup or getting just getting the beer to you without you having to put yourself in some sort of danger.
Well, while you're there, pick up a 4-pack of Imperial Pajamas.
Yes. Get it all. Carol just opened the live stream on YouTube. Where's Craig? Craig is dealing with some family issues tonight, so he will be back with us next week, Carol, but thank you for asking. Christine has a question for you, Cody. How are your parents?
Yeah, I saw that. I don't know if people know. But
I didn't say anything.
I don't think they'll mind if I mention this. They're doing fine, but they both tested positive for COVID last week, which, as you can imagine, was nightmarish for me to hear. But they were not asymptomatic, but there was no trouble breathing or any of the really intense life-threatening stuff, fortunately, thank God. Okay. So that's one less nightmare for me to have to worry about. I do know that there are, like, a couple people have said, like, well, there are cases of reinfections. I talked to my friend who's a doctor about that, and he and his wife are both doctors, and he specifically researched it, and he's like, there have been 40 cases of people re-getting it, like, worldwide.
Right.
Like 40 out of millions of people who have gotten it. So I think
that's very rare.
I'm not too worried about my folks getting it a second time, but they and one of my siblings all separately just tested positive. It's starting to feel, for months it was like, I don't know anybody that has COVID, and I don't know anyone who knows anybody, and now it is not that way.
Christine is saying that I mentioned I had friends with COVID when I was on TMJ. I did, but I didn't mention anybody's name. Christine, just a very good detective. But it's like you. I didn't know anybody personally who had COVID. And now all of a sudden I know a number of people who have COVID. And if the reports are to be believed, pretty soon everybody's going to have COVID. before the vaccines get out. Because the reports today are even more dire, as we mentioned, and they said, if today it was, if you're 65, you should really not leave the house. But if you do, you should not gather where, inside where there's a group, and you should always have a mask on, because they are predicting, and we won't spend a lot of time on this because everybody knows the deal, but they're predicting another 200,000 people could die before the end of the year.
Good Lord.
And I rail on this all the time on the air, and people will text in and deny it, and they'll say, that I'm living in fear and I'm blah, blah, blah. I don't care. The amount of people who have died thus far, you could take Green Bay twice, kill everybody in there, and still not reach the amount of people who have died to this point.
It's really bad. Carol saying, Cody, praying for my parents and family. Thank you. I appreciate that. I gotta tell you, I got a text from my mom, and it said, your father's not feeling well and has a fever. That feeling, that's one of the worst feelings I've ever had.
I can't imagine.
I called her immediately, and it went away quickly. Apparently, and I have friends whose friends of this has had too. So, don't panic if you know somebody that gets a fever. It's I don't know how common it is, but it has been noted that some people get it for like 24 hours, 48 hours. It really hits them hard, but it's kind of like a 24-hour bug, and then after that they recover pretty quickly. Obviously there are other people that get it and they like lose their sense of taste for 9 months or what, there's a range, but just because somebody comes down with a fever doesn't mean it's the end of the world. So just try to stay optimistic and monitor situations and talk to doctors if you know anyone that gets it, and try to keep your chin up. But it was emotionally quite rough.
How long had it been since you had seen them when you got that text from your mom?
It had been about a week.
Did you guys go and get tested?
I went and get tested, and I came out negative, which I think was almost disappointing for my wife. She's just like, if we just had it, then we could just see people, which I get. But and our pediatrician is like not worried at all about our kid, like whatsoever. She's just he's not going to get it. Like, okay, you're the pediatrician.
Because your child is not of this earth, so he doesn't have the human immune system that other people have. People don't know that. I'm sorry if I spilled the beads. Your child is Kal-El.
This is very true. It's very true.
Your son landed in an egg somewhere in a field, and you and your wife found him.
This is a really good beer. How's the 2018 holding up?
The 2018 tastes fantastic. Carol, if Green Bay was killed twice over, the 2020 Bears would still lose to them. In other years, I would take offense, Carol, but I do not. I agree with you wholeheartedly. So your parents are doing good. That's great. The people I know who got it, it has been the other people I know who got it. It's been varying degrees. Thankfully, nobody's been hospitalized. Some have been in bed for a week or so, trying to get over it. It is, it's a little terrifying. Just the fact now that it seems, because even people who are doing everything that you are supposed to do are still getting it. So it's like, oh boy. All right.
Yeah, we're not going anywhere anymore. Curbside pickup. That's the way to go. You
got a curbside pickup. We did that for dinner tonight because now Molly's home. So we, now it's like, oh, what are we having for dinner? And all the things that I say that I'll cook or whatever. I don't like that. I don't like that. So Debbie had a come to Jesus moment with her tonight and said, listen, we'll order out once or twice a week, maybe, but we're going to sit down and go over and create a menu. And if she doesn't like what we're having, then she can cook something for herself because she's a grown woman with a little dog that is wreaking havoc on the home.
How is the dog getting along with your dogs?
Well, here's the thing. 3 dogs in a house is too many when you have 3 people and 3 dogs. I know it seems like it would match up perfectly, and yet it does not. First of all, in case she watches this back, because I hear the word is that she doesn't watch it. I think you're frozen, Cody. No. She doesn't watch it live, but she will watch it the next day. I love having both of them here.
I'm here.
All right. Your video has frozen.
Really?
Yes.
My video looks
now it is unfrozen. It's fantastic.
Oh, all right. Cool.
Anyway, so I love having them both here. Walter is a 14-pound Chihuahua Dalmatian mix or Chihuahua Dachshund mix. So he is tiny, but he is an instigator. He likes to instigate with Lawson, who's 95.
He's a fast-moving reptile?
Yes. He is with very strong jaws.
Wow.
And green scaly skin. He may not be a dog. He may be actually a gator.
Well,
but
Tulane, I mean, that's the swamp, right? Not the one that needs to be drained, but the other swamp.
I think all swamps theoretically could be drained. Our neighbor met him the first day he was here because he likes to bark, as all little dogs do, which is why I've gotten big dogs, because they're too big to really bark. They don't have anything to prove. Like Lawson weighs 90 pounds. He's got nothing to prove. Gidget will bark, but only if somebody comes like to the door. But then she stops. She really has nothing to prove other than, hey, I'm still good at keeping people away from the house. Walter has everything to prove because he's a peewee and he's only 6 months old. So he doesn't know any better. So he started barking at my neighbor, and my neighbor was like, listen, you're a city dog now. You ain't a dog from the South. And he's got family and stuff in Alabama. He's from the South. So Rodney said to him, listen, you're a city dog now. You got to cut that stuff out. You can't be barking at everybody. This ain't the South. You got to calm down. And Walter will try to not fight, but wrestle, play. There's no growling. There's no baring teeth. There's no ears pinned back. But he wants to wrestle with Lawson, who is like Lenny from Of Mice and Men. And at some point, we'll squish the bunny without even knowing it. And so that's why now it's a big thing. We have to keep them all apart. You got to keep them separated. So
nice offspring reference.
Thank you. So Walter is on his leash now all the time in the house because he wants to grab everybody's food. He wants to get all the toys. And Lawson, who could be, and I'll put him up against anybody, to be the laziest dog on the planet. Now when he sees Walter with a toy, because Lawson does like toys, but only occasionally. Well, if he sees Walter with a toy, he's got to jump down off the couch, which for him is a Herculean effort, and then walk over and steal the toy and take it back. And then Walter just grabs another toy and they all start, it's crazy. But at one point, in the first couple days, Lawson had Walter's entire head in his mouth. And so that, Molly panicked a little bit. He wasn't clenching down. It just, Walter's head is like this big and Lawson is, and they were wrestling. They're wrestling around and kind of teething at each other. And all of a sudden, Walter's entire head was in Lawson's mouth. Yeah.
That's what they do. They put their heads in each other's mouths. It's dogs.
Yes. They are just doing dog stuff. The problem is one of Molly's friends had a Chihuahua and a big dog, and they were playing, and somehow the Chihuahua got killed, like got mushed or something, or his neck broken.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of looking at it as a freak accident, it is now the norm that every time a tiny dog plays with a big dog, they will die. So that has added a level of terror to the proceedings. But to Lawson's credit, every time he is near Walter, he lays down flat on the ground so they're eye to eye. But still, it's a huge, you wouldn't let, I wouldn't fight a 98-pound guy. There's that kind of weight discrepancy. Put it in wrestling parlance, Cody. Would Hornswoggle wrestle the Undertaker?
Hornswoggle would lose.
Yes,
badly. But he would probably do it.
Oh, I'm not saying Walter is chicken. He would wrestle Lawson.
That's the problem.
Yes, that is. And a lot of times Lawson will just be laying there, and if Walter gets loose, he will go and jump on Lawson's back and then try nipping. And it's like, hey, you can only do that so long. You're going to get swatted. You're gonna take a swat, brother. But so a long-winded way of answering your questions. They're all getting along well. It's just a lot. It's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So before you bring a dog, well, you wouldn't bring 3 dogs into your house at once. Even if down the road you got 1 dog. I know you wanted a cat before. Is that still on hold?
We kind of got a cat. We didn't, but we
basically might. How do you kind of get a cat?
Because we didn't
steal one from the neighbors.
We didn't get a human animal. We got look, both of us are busy. We're working. We're raising a kid. We're looking around the house. We're like, it's hard to keep this place clean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, you got to clean the floors a lot. We're all, doing laundry all the time with it.
Especially when the baby starts crawling, because they will eat everything.
Right.
They're like little Roombas.
Right. And, my wife does yoga, so she's on the floor a lot and sees how dirty our floors are. So it's gross, right? So I was like, you know what? Because of this pandemic, we can't. I mean, I would give somebody like $100 to come once a month and just do the floors.
Sure.
No. Can't have somebody in there.
No.
So,
God forbid.
I outsourced it to a machine.
Did you get a Roomba?
I got a robot vacuum. It's not a Roomba. It's a Eufy, I guess.
A Eufy?
Yeah, we named him Perseus. Because we watched Clash of the Titans last night, because I've been on a Greek mythology kick because I'm playing Hades, this video game about Hades. So we watched Clash of the Titans, and the character, you've seen this movie, right?
I know it. I don't think I ever watched the whole thing.
The main character has the acting range of a cardboard box.
Perfect.
It is awful. So we tongue-in-cheek named our robot vacuum Perseus. So all day, we had a little robot vacuum flying around, and it grabbed the tree skirt for a Christmas tree and started dragging it around and didn't do any damage, but it was funny and it was hijinks. And so I'm like, we basically have a cat.
Yeah, you got some shenanigans happening in the house.
We have shenanigans. And I'm telling you, man, look, if you've been cooped up in quarantine, you're in a routine, you're like, oh, there's nowhere to go. Every day is the same. If you don't want to get a pet, just get a robot vacuum. They're fun, dude. You can name
Do they work though? I mean, does it, you just let it loose? What, how does it, I've seen them around and I'm like, I think that, I don't know if
I don't believe this is a particularly sophisticated one. Like, it was really cheap. It was under a couple $100.
Okay.
And when you look, like, it'll like go diagonally across the kitchen, bump into a wall, and then go diagonally in the living room. And then it'll clean like a 4 square foot area in the living room assiduously for 15 minutes. Then it'll just kind of scoot back to the bathroom. Then it leaves the bathroom. So I'm like, I don't know how much of the floor it's actually getting, but it's fun to watch. And here's the thing. It's like 2.7 inches high. So it fits under both of our couches and our entertainment center and our liquor cabinet.
Okay. So you have a liquor cabinet.
I have an old piece of furniture that's like a cupboard that growing up, I actually played video games. There's a video game cabinet. There was a TV in it. And we didn't have anywhere in our kitchen for alcohol, and we weren't drinking when we moved here because she was pregnant and I was not drinking alone. So we designated it this is where we put the liquor now.
It's very nice.
Yeah.
Have a liquor cabinet.
I
always wondered about those if they, because when a human is running a vacuum cleaner, as I did today, you're overlapping, you're making sure the whole place is clean. The video I've seen of these robotic vacuums, they're just kind of haphazard. They're drunk. They wander around. They, like you said, they bang into the wall. Then they go the other way. They bang into another wall, and they just, just wander around.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know how thorough it is, but like, it keeps our floors cleaner, to be sure.
Right.
It gets to the hard to reach places, so we don't have 9 inches of dust under the couch.
I like the under the couch and liquor cabinet portion of the program.
Yeah, John in the chat saying liquor cabinet. Welcome to 1963. That's how we roll.
Yeah, you're very madman.
Very mad.
Next it's a Carnarvon wagon. Your wife will have pearls on when you come downstairs from work. She'll have a highball ready for you, maybe a Harvey Wallbanger.
She's always got the slippers ready for me.
Does she really?
Got on right. Yeah, nice.
Look at you.
Slipper right
goodness.
There. Yeah. I don't come home from work because I'm working. I'm talking to you from work right now.
From your office. How's the bass trap working out for you?
That sounds pretty good to me.
I don't know.
I got some more work to do. I ordered some stuff on Black Friday. I'm going to have an extra monitor up here so I can stand when I broadcast. I'm going to build another bass trap for this wall, which is where it should go. But it'll be much smaller. It'll be much smaller. So yeah, I got some more projects I'm working on.
How is it being back at work? Is your young son respecting the fact that dad is no longer a layabout and gets to spend every moment with him?
Neither of us are quite as productive. But he's he naps kind of well sometimes. Dude, he's all about the hands right now.
Oh, finding out what they are.
Yeah.
Nice.
Anytime we walk in, like we leave the room for a minute and you come back and he's just like,
what is this?
He's like, things? He's just staring at it like so intensely, and he'll just be like trying to move a finger, and it like he'll just do it for like an hour. It's great.
That's beautiful, man.
Is that normal for kids? Did your daughter do that?
Yeah, because they're all of a sudden it's like, hey, wait, is that part of me? What? I'm moving that. That's weird. And they'll do it. He'll do it with his feet, and everything. It's because everything is new. They haven't seen anything before.
Yeah.
He just got hired. He doesn't know. He doesn't know where the coffee room is. He doesn't know where the bathroom is. It's all brand new to him.
It's really cool. I mean, it is a blessing to be able to spend so much time with my kid.
Yeah, that's very cool that you have the ability to work from home.
Yeah, no, it's extraordinary. There are moments when he's like, I want to be held, and I'm like, I want to have two hands to type on my keyboard. There's.
Can you use your baby Bjorn and just hang him on your belly, and so he's with you, but you can still work?
We have some of those. He doesn't love it. But
tell him he has to pick. Explain to him. You can either be in the baby Bjorn or you got to get out because daddy's got to work. So you make the decision, kid. I'm not gonna coddle you all day.
The baby Bjorn, you say?
Isn't that what? Don't you have one of those things that the baby sits in front? Baby Bjorn.
No, we've got one of those. He's a little small for it.
Is he?
Yeah,
he's very tall. Isn't he like 7'3"?
He's gigantic. It's ridiculous.
A very large baby.
He could probably
in a good way.
He could probably beat up that dog, the 90-pound dog.
Well, he could definitely take Walter. No doubt about it. That I'd like to see. I'd like to pit. Maybe, listen. Maybe when this is all over, you and I have a big barrel-aged stout party. We get liquored up. We pit the dog against the baby. See what happens.
I'm down. I think he'd win, honestly. The baby, not the
baby. Yeah, the baby. I mean, he's obviously he's working his hands. He's getting where he knows what to do. He's pretty soon he'll be making a fist. Then he'll probably headbutt you. And it's going to be, he's going to be good. A baby sling. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. Christine says a baby sling, so that way you could work. Yeah. But you are right. You are blessed. And I hate to use that term, but you're lucky you get to work from home.
Why do you hate to use that term?
Blessed. The hashtag blessed.
I like that term.
I don't because 90% of the people who use it, one, are not. Two, are just doing it so they look good on social media. But I think you're fortunate. That I will say, and I agree with that term. You are very fortunate that you get to work from home because I did not have that experience. I was gone a lot when Molly was real little. I'd be home for a few days. I'd be gone for a week. So that was it's much nicer. I am envious of your experience.
Yeah, I'm extremely grateful for it. It is a little bit of like psychological warfare against yourself because I want to hang out with them all day, right? So
sure.
There's also you certainly have to exercise more self-control, right? Like if I just disappeared and I was in the office for 8 hours, like I just work and then just try and do it as fast as I can so I can go home. So there are some challenges. I guess it's just what I'm trying to say. I'm not complaining, but I just want to give some insight because I'm sure that like you, the vast majority of people that have had children in the last 100 years have not been able to just have the kid mostly at their side while they're working. So it's and
even in my day, there was no such thing as paternity leave. The dads went back to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it just in that, and I think it's a good thing. I'm not one of these guys who goes, well, I had to go right back to work. So everybody, no, I think it's fantastic that the workplace has evolved and people now go, yeah, you know what? It's important for the dad to have a little time at home too. But, I didn't have that. I've told the story. I worked the day she was born.
Yeah.
I worked the night before. I took Debbie in for the cesarean. I left the hospital once they were both okay, did a show, drove back from South Bend, and that's, I'm not saying poor me, because every dad I know was the same way. Some guys were able to take a couple days, but that didn't happen.
I like your attitude though, of like, it'd be nice if more people could do that. Because I know about a week or two ago, Biden said something about forgiving college debt, student loans. And I saw on Twitter, there were so many people that are just like, well, I had to pay, so everybody should have to pay. Like, what about me? What about me? And it's like, why can't you just be like, I know people that had extensive student loans, and they have said to me, they're just like, I had ridiculous student loans, and I wouldn't wish that on other people.
Right. If it gets, that's what I don't know. And Catherine O'Connell, our good friend Catherine O'Connell, saying she worked the day her son was born. People did it. But I feel the same way about the student loans. Would it have been nice if beforehand everybody got that clemency? Sure. If there had never been student loan debt, that would have been great. But now there's a chance that maybe some kids will not have this crippling debt that will, because, they got into a good college, and you can't say, well, it was their own fault. Well, no, if you get into a good college, and good college is expensive, medium range, all college is expensive. Whether you're going to community college or whether you're going to Harvard or Tulane or wherever, you gotta come up with some dough. And, yes, some people can make a good living without going to college, but a lot of people need college to get a job and get a good job. And unfortunately, when they get out of school, they're not getting jobs that, where the pay is going to equal what they're going to need. So if they can cut some of that debt out for them, okay, people who came before always had it a little harder. That's part of being first. You had to bust your hump a little more. And maybe the people who come before you, because you busted your hump, they get a break. Okay, let somebody get a break. And now granted, would that break help my household? Sure it would. But I'd feel the same way even if it didn't. I know a lot of people, think about those people who worked 2 jobs to put themselves through school, and they were like, okay, I did it. I graduated. Maybe I'm going to, go on to law school or medical school or grad school or whatever, only because that's the only way I can possibly get a job where I can make the kind of money that I need just to pay off my loans, not to even live like a king, just to pay off that student debt. It's ridiculous. See, I'm much more compassionate than people give me credit for.
You are, even though you are a man of the people, but you don't like people.
Molly told me the other day, because we have a lot of bear decor in the house. I love bears, not the Chicago Bears, but actual living bears.
But you also like the Chicago Bears.
But I would never have a picture of the Chicago Bears in my home. I have some, Debbie and Molly have given me over the years some hand-carved statues from this one artist. I have a couple of bear things. I like a rustic cabin feel to things. I like that kind of decor. And Molly said, because we pulled out, there was this one Santa Claus that we pulled out when we were unpacking. He's kind of a woodsy Santa. He's outdoors. And I was like, oh, I love this. I love this Santa. She goes, yeah, you should. Of course you do. Everything you like, you should live in a cabin. And I said, what do you mean? She said, well, I don't mean this bad, but you like bears, you like the cabin aesthetic, and you hate people. So you'd be great living in the wilderness. And I couldn't argue with any.
Yeah, where's the lie?
There was no lie. There was no lie there. So I said, oh, okay. But yes, I am a man of the people, but not near the people. That's how I like to look at it, which is fine.
Can I just shout out again, Beguile
Please, Brewing? Shout out whatever you need to.
This barrel-aged Imperial pajamas from Beguile is phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
My man Kevin Carey will be happy to hear that.
It's on par with the Bourbon County Stout. I mean, I'll say it.
Yeah.
I love our friends at Goose Island, but like this gear is of that caliber. Pro tip on the Bourbon County bottles, by the way, Brian.
Yes.
Do you have your 2020 bottle handy by any chance?
This is a 20. I have a 2018.
Okay, but you don't have the 2020 like on your person, right? Okay, that's fine.
Yes, I carry them in a bandolier just in case I need to pop one out. I've got a Carmela, I've got a special number 4. They're across my chest like I'm the Frito Bandito. No, I don't have it on my person.
That's fine. Pro tip, Goose Island confirmed this, but a guy on Reddit realized it. If you look on the back near the expiration date, next to that, there are certain codes that indicate that particular bottle was aged in a particular barrel.
Really?
So if it says WT, it's Wild Turkey.
Okay.
If it says HH, it's Heaven Hill.
Okay.
And there's one other one, and I don't remember what it is offhand. And if it's just like a number, like most of mine just say like 2095. So I guess that just means I don't know what that means. It's just generic or their barrels, or I don't know. But yeah, if you have a WT or an HH or
maybe
another,
it means September 5th, 20.
Yeah,
they did it European wise.
Yeah,
year, month, day.
Keep an eye, because I looked at mine and I mostly have the kind of generic number, but I have 2 Wild Turkey bottles. So I had one of the regular. Well, I had one bottle and I kept the empty bottle, so I know it was a regular original. But I'm going to try the Wild Turkey original and see if it tastes any different.
Huh. The 2018 does not have that. It just says bottled on 5 October 2018 at 13:37. So that would be 1:37 p.m. Oh, 15.2% alcohol. What do you know about that? Hopefully I'll make it through this.
I have a. Let me know when we can talk Black Friday, because I went on a.
Let's do it. I mean, what else can be said about the pandemic? Nothing. Wear a mask. What else can be said about the dogs? Nothing. Wear a mask. I wear a mask around the dogs. No, I don't have extra bottles of Bourbon County Stout on my person. I think we've covered everything. Is there? So yes, let's get to Black Friday, because I mentioned at the onset of this broadcast that I was drinking this, because normally I'm not opening a Bourbon County Stout bottle by myself, or on a night where I actually have to communicate with people or have to do anything, including walking downstairs, which I will have to do when this is over. But I decided I was going to do it because I've been giving you a hard time for the last week, because you have lost your mind when it comes to barrel-aged stouts.
Mm-hmm.
So how did because now I did not go out Black Friday. I was working on Black Friday. So I did not go out. I mentioned I got the one bottle yesterday when I went into Walmart, just because I was so shocked that they were at Walmart. But you have done something different.
Mistakes were made. We'll say mistakes were made. That's fair.
What mistakes? You are now the proud owner of about, I don't know, a room full of Bourbon County Stout and other stouts?
Was it 20 or 30? I think I have 20.
What? You got 20 bottles this year?
Yeah.
I saw the picture.
I think if you count, it's 20, because I have 2 anniversary. I have 2 proprietors. That's 4. I have 5 original. That's 19, or that's 9. I have 3. Yeah, I have 20.
And this doesn't count the stuff that we got for our tasting, does it? Or does
no, it doesn't. Here's the problem. Okay.
So what happened? What happened with you, Cody? Where did you take the turn from rational human being who, you get a bottle or 2, you go, oh, this is fun. I got a few bottles. It's fun. You've gone around the bend.
The legendary Goose Island Bourbon County Stout has several varieties.
7 varietals in all.
Mm-hmm.
This
year, 3 in particular are rare/expensive. Proprietor's Blend, Birthday, and Anniversary.
Okay.
You don't really know ahead of time which ones will be rare and which ones will be more common, but you kind of do.
Sure.
You can still find from last year. You can still find Mon Cherie and Wheat Wine and the original pretty regularly. Right. Like, it's not.
Well, I mean, if I can get the original at Walmart, it's not rare.
Right. So this year, you figure, okay, I'll be able to get original Carmela, maybe like special number 4. But I didn't know about Kentucky Fog or any of the other ones. Diane, would I trade some 2020 bourbon stouts for Duplos? I might. Depends on which variety you're looking for, which I'll get into. So here's the thing, Brian. I wanted to get my hands on a couple bottles if I could, or one, of the birthday, the anniversary, and the proprietors, right?
Right.
Seems simple. I missed the Benny's lottery because I'm an idiot. I didn't win the Jewel Osco lottery because I'm an idiot. I missed the prop day lottery because I'm an idiot. So that left then you're left with a few lotteries because a lot of stores, they're like, this year we'll do a lottery so you don't line up 20 people outside on Black Friday, right?
Yeah.
So
where did you find? I'm sorry to interrupt. Where did you find these? Because I did Jewel. I didn't do Benny's because I already had some. I did the prop day one, but I thought those were the only ones. But you found other ones?
Yeah, they were on this Osner app, OZNR.
Okay.
It's a liquor ordering app, and new this year to a few just like breweries around the Chicagoland area. They did it. But you had to enter these lotteries all kind of before Black Friday, and it automatically charges your credit card if you win. So what I ended up doing was I entered one for a beer store pretty close to me, a couple suburbs away. I entered one in Tinley Park. I entered one in Chicago. I entered a couple in Chicago. So I just found some small ones and entered them basically, right?
Good Lord. Okay. So you're going all over. You basically had a 50-mile radius that you were willing to travel?
Yeah. So, and I was entering because I wanted to win the proprietor's blend, and because I wanted to win the
birthday and the anniversary.
So I won a proprietor's blend package from Consume in where is Consume? Where is Consume? It's near here. I want to shout them out because they were really efficient. Consume in Lake Zurich.
Okay. Wow.
It's 20 minutes from here, I think, or so. It wasn't too far.
Okay.
Yeah. Consume from Lake Zurich. So great. I win that one. I get a proprietor's blend. But here's the thing.
What was in that package that you won?
This is the problem, Brian. All I wanted was to guarantee myself, anniversary birthday proprietors.
Right.
But they all came in packages.
Yes. So that was the thing this year.
The proprietor's package, which was like $250 or something, they were insane. So I got a proprietor's bottle, which is great. But then I got 4 originals, 3 special number 4s, which you can get anywhere, 1 or 2 Carmelas, which you can get anywhere.
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, that's fair. And 2 Kentucky Fogs, which are also.
You really were looking forward to.
I really
trying
wanted
Kentucky
to try
Fog.
it, but so I got 2 of those.
Sure, that's a lot.
So that's a lot. But then I also won a lottery in Tinley Park for a package that included a anniversary stout.
Ooh.
So I'm like, this is great, but it's an anniversary stout, a special number 4, a Carmela, and 2 originals. So you win a couple of these packages and you end up with 9 originals, 7 special number 4s. And I like those, they're good. The special number 4 I love this year. They're all good, but they come with so many extra. I'm just I want to get rid of these extra originals and these extra special number 4s, but no one will buy them because there's no resale market because they're so easy to find everywhere.
That's amazing. Well, yeah, because this year you couldn't line up, and it's funny that these big packages, those packages seem extreme. So what was it breaking down to per bottle? I mean, was it about the right retail price?
I literally didn't even do the math. I just assumed it was kind of fair. I don't know. Here's the worst part. So I drive to Lake Zurich and I pick up. Fantastic. This is wonderful. I get the bottles. Saturday, not only was I to go to Tinley Park, but that was also
where in Tinley, can I ask?
It was called I will look. Was it the Open Bottle? Might have been the Open Bottle.
Okay.
Assuming they are in Tinley. Yeah, the Open Bottle in Tinley Park, 7101 183rd Street.
Wow, you were really out there.
Yeah, I know. It seems like a fun time to go 45 minutes to get a bunch of beers till you have to drive 45 minutes to get a bunch of beers.
Right, and you can't stop somewhere and have a beer on your way back.
No, they were like, we have outdoor seating if you want to have one. I'm like, who the hell's going to drive me if I have a Bourbon County Stout on your patio? So I go all the way to Tinley Park, which is forever. And then Beguile's release of Imperial Pajamas was on that day. And because they're so organized, they have you pick a time to like pick up. So I picked a time. So I go to Tinley Park, fly all the way up there, and then go home. I was on the road for probably 8 hours between Friday and Saturday. It was just ridiculous. It was totally ridiculous.
Well, if you were at Beguile, you could have driven right by my house. I was outside doing the lawn. Decorating the house for Christmas. We could have had a beer right in the grass.
No, here's the worst part. On the way home, I'm on Reddit, right? Like all these people in the Chicago subreddit keep talking about all these liquor stores. And they keep saying like, oh, there's all these smaller liquor stores that have Bourbon County Stout. So on the way home, I went into Royal Liquor on North Avenue. It's 3 blocks from my house. Go into Royal Liquor. Wonder if they have anything rare. Walk in right there, big box. It says limit 1 per customer. They have 16 anniversary Bourbon County Stout.
Oh, I do not have an anniversary. I got to find one.
The one that I drove to Tinley Park to get was 2 blocks away from my house. I stopped by there earlier today, Brian. I'll go get you one tomorrow if you want. They got like
what are they asking for those for the anniversary?
They're asking 38. I believe it retails for 25 or something.
Pass on that.
That's not that big of an upcharge.
I know, but $40 for a bottle of beer.
No, dude. No, there's a place in Elmhurst that is charging $70, and you have to buy another Bourbon County Stout variety, and they have doubled the retail price on every single variety.
They can go. They can
go pounds.
Well, yeah. I'm led. All of a sudden, the 15% Bourbon County Stout is starting to try to talk for me, and I have to be very careful. They can pound sand. You can say it that. I can say it that way. If you're gouging people like that, F off. You know, it's not like liquor stores have been. Listen, liquor stores are one of the only businesses that have been able to stay open and are always crowded. So, no, I'm not. You know, especially because we know we have relationships with the people at Goose. Not that I'm getting any. I mean, we got the stuff for the tasting, which was great and very generous. I've bought all mine. You've bought all yours.
Mm-hmm.
But I find it repugnant that these people are trying to, you know. I can see if you're a guy and you're trying to, you know, sell some out of your basement and you're trying to get a little more money, that's fine. But as a retailer, if you're price gouging like that, no thanks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not when I know. And again, I know it's the original 1048. You know, it's out there. You can find it for the regular price.
Yeah.
And if you can't, I don't know. Well, there's people willing to pay it. I'm talking to one of them. So,
when I see you, if ever again, I want to split the anniversary bottle with you.
That would be lovely.
So, because I have 2 now, right?
Yes. See,
so the other one who
no,
knows?
and I told you I want to buy one of your Carmelas and an original from you.
See, I'd love to. Again, I have like 900. So,
it's going to see it. Well, let's see what your price is. Let's see if you go crazy. All of a sudden, you're like, it's $80 a bottle. You can do this. Listen, I hate to do this, but you're going to have to carry things for about 2 minutes.
Ooh, all right, go for it.
I'll be right back.
Dog trouble. All right. Roger asked in the chat, did I get a birthday one? I heard I only got anniversary in the original. Yeah, birthday. Here's the problem. I keep mixing up birthday and anniversary. Brian and I tried birthday from the tasting, and I got 2 anniversary. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Brian and I tried birthday when we talked to our good friends at Goose Island a couple weeks ago. And I got a couple anniversaries. So yeah, no, I've gotten them all, Roger. It's too many. It's way too many, like so many, so many. And we're good now. And again, I'm going to shout out our friends at Beguile because the Imperial Pajamas is really good. I should probably have some other story to talk about, but like my whole week was beer, basically. Some of my high school friends and I did decide to, well, it wasn't really us deciding. my friend Blake literally texted my friend group and just said, hey, do you guys all want to get really drunk on Zoom on Wednesday? And I was like, great, let's do it. So I set up a Zoom Blackout Wednesday, virtual distanced, whatever. Because I think at that point when he suggested that, he's a doctor and he and his wife are doctors. They've had to quarantine 80 times. They've had to COVID test 9. It's ridiculous for them right now. I think they're just sick like everybody else is of not seeing people. And they're just like, you know what? Thanksgiving's going to suck for everybody. Everything sucks for everybody. Let's just drink a bunch on Black Wednesday. And after we did that, which was fun, I kind of rediscovered the like Zoom get together thing. Because we all need to be socially connected when we can for like our mental well-being. And in fact, fun fact, researchers just did a study and they found that the signals that your brain gives you when you crave social interaction are similar to the signals that your brain gives you when you're hungry, which suggests that social interaction is actually a basic human need on the same level as hunger. So we're
most human beings, I would argue for most human beings, that's probably true.
Well, so I don't know if you know offhand the study if it's most or all or whatever, but they do point out that being alone does not mean that you are lonely.
True. So there's a lot of people who really enjoy being alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but if you look at the prison system, what do they use for the ultimate punishment? Solitary confinement, when you are cut off from everybody. So that lends credence to your study. Thank you for covering things with psychology and science while I was gone.
Yeah, no, we're gonna be running this story on Curiosity Daily.
Is that part of the Discovery family of brands?
It's part of the Discovery family of brands. We're gonna be running that in early 2021.
How happy were your coworkers to have you back?
To me, surprisingly happy. My coworker and colleague Ashley, who's my co-host on Curiosity Daily, did the best job ever of making sure that I came back from paternity leave, not buried in work.
Oh, nice.
So she's the bat. Like I cannot speak highly enough of her. It was great.
What happens to the person who was brought in to cover your time away?
She'll be around if we need her. You know, she's a good kid. You know, she's a friend of ours. Like
right.
we had known her before, and
she hasn't been cast asunder. She knew this was a temporary gig.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So you're back working. So that sounds like, and I'm sorry I missed part of the thing, but if from what I gleaned is people need to be around other people.
Yeah, I was mentioning that I did a Blackout Wednesday drunk happy hour with friends on Wednesday.
Oh, and that's nice.
And then Saturday there were some friends that we hadn't talked to really in 6 months probably, and I was like, you know what, Casey, let's just get on Zoom and keep it small. It's important to keep it manageable. 3 to 4 screens, I think most, because like you and I, Brian, and you can tell right away who is kind of used to communicating online or in this format,
right?
Not stepping over each other. Everyone does it by accident. Sometimes we do it. Sure. Sometimes it's just the medium, but there are some people that like on a Zoom call, like they don't realize that as soon as you start talking, everything gets garbled for other people. So you have to assume people's level of like Zoom capability is a little bit lower.
Yes. We tried to FaceTime my mom on Thanksgiving and I saw nothing below her eyebrows.
Oh no.
And we've done FaceTime and Zoom with my mom numerous times.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason on Thanksgiving, her hairline looked good, I guess, for the amount of time we spoke. That was it. And I didn't want to, because it was Molly and myself and Debbie was in the kitchen cleaning stuff up. And so Molly and I were on separate phones and I didn't want to, it was turned into a thing. So I was just like, I'm not even going to mention the fact that I don't know what the rest of your face looks like at this point. I'm just going to let it go. But to your point, yeah. Now, I like that idea. To be honest, that's how I look at Wednesday nights. this is my socializing, talking to you and Craig and everybody who comments and listens in and watches. That's my social. But I get it. There are a couple people that I do miss hanging around with, and I don't hang out with that many people. But it's nice just to get together. So I get it. So did you enjoy your Blackout Wednesday and your Saturday cyber hangs, as the kids like to call them?
They were really fun. And I think as December draws near, so many people are dreading it, but we have progressed as the human race.
Yes.
Like, we have the technology, right? We've made this, right? Skype has been around for 20 years.
Right.
It's not as fun and it sucks, but like, make an event, right? Like make it like not just like a casual, oh, I'll call this guy maybe next week, whatever. Like, put it on your calendar and send an invite to 1 or 2 or 3 of your close friends and just be like, let's all sit down and we'll like have drinks and suggest what you're gonna do.
Did you put a time limit on it? Because I think that intimidates a lot of people too, where they go, it's gonna go on forever.
Oh boy. I mean, Wednesday I blocked out like 3 hours in case my friends just wanted to hang out. But in that instance, that that seems like that time would go like nothing. It'd be boom, fast. Well, Zoom free plan has time limits, I believe.
Minutes.
Skype doesn't, to my knowledge.
Oh, okay.
I don't think so. So
I've used Skype before, but not in a long time. Not since everybody discovered Zoom was the way to go.
Right. But
Zoom was the thing.
But make it purposeful. When you put on like happy hour and you say it in the description, like, let's all have a cocktail and just chit chat, like that you've got to give it some structure, right? If you just say like catch up Zoom call, like Zoom isn't the content. Zoom is just the medium through which it'd be like saying,
because if I called you, I would say, hey, you want to go have a drink? We would even if it was that loose,
mm-hmm.
We're not giving each other an agenda of what will be discussed during that drink time, but it's like, hey, let's go have a drink. Okay,
mm-hmm.
I'll meet you at the bar and we'll sit down, and then whatever we talk about, we talk about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I like that. We might have to do some of that over the holidays.
I think it's worth doing. Yeah, there's a couple couples that we know that we might just be like, hey, do you want to have a drink at 8:00 on Friday? And
I would love that. Oh, I don't know if we were invited, but I would love that.
You're always invited. I always just assume.
You always assume that I'm antisocial? Good assumption. Good assumption. No, listen, if the baby is going to make even a 10-second cameo, I'm in.
Baby will always make a cameo for you. I'm very proud of you.
Well, I'm assuming your friends, if you were on with your friends on Wednesday, they've seen the baby. At least cyber,
Mm-hmm. They have, but he's asleep by 7 every night.
That's good. Is he sleeping through the night?
He slept through the night Friday and Saturday.
Dude.
Which is great when you want to, work the next day. But it turns out that you don't work on Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah, this kid, he's got to get with the program.
He hates our work week. He's like, oh, you're working? I'm not sleeping tonight. Mm-mm.
No, he's got to be up and moving. Well, Debbie is off this week. And so not to equate your son with Walter, but Walter's the same way. He wants to be going around. So like now that Debbie's off this week, he's in heaven because he gets to hang out with Granny all day.
Oh boy.
Yeah. It's straight. Well, again, I like what you're doing. I think, that's something I'm going to have to try because at this point I've, except for Wednesdays, I've given up on contacting anyone. And I'm realizing that is not really the way to be. Now, granted, I'm, so far along in my life in this path, I can't really change it, but there's people that I'll text every once in a while or see, and it's like, oh, that was nice to at least touch base with that person for a second. Mm-hmm. I don't know how long, whatever, spend 4 hours talking to each other. I don't know how we got that much to say, but, it's nice. So I get it. I get that people do need that connection.
I think the main takeaway from what I was saying before about how some people need it is like, if you're disagreeing with, say, your spouse about how much you need to see people and have social interactions, realize that it truly is a very deep-seated human need. And like, if they are really dying, it's not just like, oh, come on, suck it up, it's a pandemic, whatever. It's like, no, that is a basic human need for social engagement. And so find creative ways for them to do it distantly from other people, because it's important. And it's something that I dismissed. My wife wanted to be a lot more social than I did. I was like, no, we got to lock it down, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But like, once I kind of learned about the science, I'm just like, oh man, I was kind of being a hard ass, like, she needs to, if she says she needs to like see people, then like, we need to figure out a way to make that happen in a safe way.
Is she open to, because I know I've had that conversation with my mom, and and granted, she's in a much different place than your wife because your wife is younger and more adaptable to technology. My mom and her sisters tried doing it a couple times and it did not go well.
Yeah.
For them, but they're all, 70 and above. So does your wife, like, if your wife had a happy hour with her friends on Zoom, would that count for her as social interaction? Like if you took the baby and she was just hanging out with her friends on Zoom?
Sunday morning, she was like, that was really fun last night.
Oh, good.
It was really good for her. It was really good for me. And, it's being mediated through a screen, and that's kind of sad, but like,
but you're still seeing the people. It's not like a phone call.
Mm-hmm.
You're seeing them in their place. I mean, you look now, I've got holiday decorations in the office. It's very festive. So it's not ideal, but it's better.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's as bad as some people would make it out to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because I could see you. So I feel like we're together because I'm looking at your face.
Exactly. I've gotten very used to your office, which is you deck the halls.
Listen, you know me when it comes to Christmas. But yes, the office always has peanut centric. So I've got my little Charlie Brown tree back there and a Snoopy. I have this I was going to get rid of, but Molly told me not to, because we've been last year and this year, as we've been decorating, we've been donating things that we don't really need anymore. Old ornaments that have no real sentimental value, extra lights because we don't have as many trees as we used to have, different things. And one of the things that I won this last year, I don't know if you can read that. It says ugly but classy. I won the ugly holiday sweater contest at school. And so I got this wonderful trophy. And as part of that, I also got a VIP parking spot, but I gave the VIP parking spot to the teacher who came in second place because I wasn't there every day. And, and I'm that kind of benevolent soul.
Very benevolent.
So Debbie was like, you don't really need that anymore, do you? Your ugly but classy trophy. And I was like, no, I guess not. And Molly said, why would you? No, you have to keep that. Why would you not keep that? So now it's here in the office because I'm ugly but classy.
I found
Snoopy.
I found a bunch of participation trophies from when I was 6.
What did you participate in when you were 6?
AYSO soccer and taekwondo.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm. So I have, and bowling.
Wow. Bowling at 6?
No, the bowling is from when I was like 12 or 13, but I have a little bowling trophy that says like, good job, you bowled. Your high was 147.
So what'd you decide to do with them?
I didn't know what to do with them. So I like twisted them together. Like I sat them on each other and so to make like a monster Franken trophy. And I put it on top of our china cabinet. And it's still sitting there. And my wife is just like, why is that there? And I was like, I don't know what to do with these trophies.
Put them in your studio. Put them in your office. That's where that kind of goofy stuff goes.
Oh, it's dumb. It's so dumb. I could get it. It's awful.
I would love to see it on the. If you look at the bookshelf behind me on that top shelf, there is a vintage WGN ornament from when they had the when they carried the Bears, the Cubs, and DePaul Blue Demon basketball. And I don't know where I got it. I don't know how. It was one of those things that when the station was moving one of the many times, and they were just dumping out stuff and leaving it on the table, I grabbed it. And so now it's, now I have it sitting up there on a little ornament hanger. They're like, you want it up? I'm like, no.
I have 2 Spike O'Dell Christmas ornaments.
Really?
Yeah. Do you want them?
No, I don't want 2. That's excessive.
They're different.
Oh, are they different? Mm-hmm. I didn't know they had I have a Spike O'Dell WGN hat.
Ooh. No, because he painted, right?
He still does. He still does paintings all the time.
Yeah, he had 2 Christmas.
Really?
I helped him clean out his office at the end of my internship.
That had to be a chore.
No, it's fun. He let me keep a bunch of stuff.
I napped in his office many a time in the overnights when I was between sports night and the overnight show.
Yeah. No, if anyone, I'll find them and I'll try and bring him to the QuarantineCast next week. I've been trying to get rid of him for years. I mean, I love Spike, but I just don't have. It's not our aesthetic.
Yeah, and there's a time, and I've over the last few months, as we've talked about, and you missed a lot of it when I was helping my mom get rid of a lot of stuff. I realized to a small extent, I have part of that gene where you want to hold on to stuff. And so Debbie doesn't. And I tease her about it all the time where I say, oh, you want to get rid of everything. No. But there comes a point where you're like, all right, we don't need literally 18 coffee mugs. There's 2 of us in the house that drink coffee normally, 3 now that Molly's here. So technically we could get away with 3 to 6 coffee mugs. That doesn't count. And those are everyday coffee mugs. Those aren't the Christmas coffee mugs that have now come out. So the other day when we were getting out, because we have these, when we were first married, I was working at Marshall Fields, and we have these everyday Christmas dishes that we use. They're the clear glass, and they have the Christmas tree. And so anybody who's been to Marshall Fields in the past knows what these are. So, but it means we got to clear out the cabinet. So we clear out the cup. And Debbie's like, can we please get rid of some of these coffee mugs? These extra, there's a whole shelf of coffee mugs that we never touched because we're always using the coffee mugs on the first shelf. One of them, I feel bad, was a Max and Orion WGN agriculture coffee mug. So I donated that.
Is Max watching right now?
I hope not, because I love Max and his book is on my shelf right to my right. So it's not that I don't respect either one. I just didn't have room for this big coffee mug. To be fair, I also gave away a Captain America coffee mug. So let's, priorities.
Give the devil where the devil's credit.
Give the devil his due. I'll bet a fiddle of gold against your soul because I think I'm better than you.
Fiddler on the Roof.
No, that's Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Devil Went Down to Georgia. That's what I said.
My name's Johnny. It might be a sin.
And
but I'll think that you're going to regret because I'm the best it's ever been. Johnny, rousing up your bow and play that fiddle hard because hell's broke loose in Georgia and the devil deals the cards. And if you win, you get that shiny fiddle made of gold. And if you lose, the devil gets your soul. All right, enough Charlie Daniels for one night. I don't know how we got on the coffee. Oh, getting rid of stuff. That's how we...
How's that Bourbon County trading?
Listen, all I know is I have unbelievable recollection for Charlie Daniels Band.
So believe it or not, I know the lyrics because...
See, now Roger saying I love coffee mugs would have loved a Max and Orion mug. Well, had I known that, Roger, I would have given it to you. But I didn't know, it's some... I'll tell you where you can go find it. Go to the is it Goodwill or Salvation Army? I think it's good. Go to the Goodwill store at Harlem and North Avenue. There's a good chance it's there. That's where I take all my stuff.
13.1%.
Which one?
The Imperial Pajamas.
The one you're drinking?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, mine's 15.2.
Well, look at you.
That's right.
Remember that time we almost crossed weight?
Almost crossed weight?
You were losing so
Oh,
much, and I was gaining so much because I was trying to bulk up that we almost crossed where I was heavier than you.
Yeah, I've gotten I've been put some weight on. Not to where I was when I started, but so I'm trying to get, and now I'm hearing from Debbie and Molly that they don't want me to lose as much as I lost before.
They said that the first time. You knew that.
No, they're like, you look sick. Like, all right. So anyway, but yeah, we're not going to cross weight again for a long time, I think. Alex says, I have at least 10 coffee mugs and I live alone. They're all from different jobs. I think we attach the mug to the memory and don't throw them away. I believe you are correct, Alex. There's a lot of, like the Captain America one I gave away was a gift that Debbie had given me, but now I have a bigger Avengers mug that I use all the time. So it was like, okay, I remember it. I don't, and some of the other ones, now I kept a few, like I kept a Conan mug that Molly had given me when she worked for Conan. I kept an FBI mug that I got when I went through the FBI Citizens Academy. But some it's like, okay, you got them free from somewhere, or they don't have the connection that.
But mugs are a thing. I don't get rid of them, but don't they break for you?
No, I'm very careful. You know me. I'm very careful.
I'm very careful too. I was working at A.T. Kearney, the global consulting firm, and I had a Drake University mug from college, and I was in the kitchen and I was holding the mug in my hand, and I was wiping it off with a washcloth or whatever because I wanted to hand wash it, and I was holding the handle, and the handle just snapped off.
Yeah.
Snapped clean off. That's happened to like 3 of our mugs.
I had a Tasmanian devil mug that just shattered. Shadoobie.
Yeah.
So yeah, they just break. I mean, we still, trust me. It's not like I didn't leave the house in a precarious situation where one day we may not have mugs. We got plenty of mugs. But again, when Debbie said, can we get rid of some of these? My first instinct was no, just like some beer glasses. I've got beer glasses from all these breweries, and I've got the little, like tonight, I'm drinking out of this Fobab 2019 taster glass. Well, this didn't get donated. There were a few from different fests I donated, but like the Fobab one and my little Bourbon County ones, and there was Beguile I have and an older, and some of the pint glasses, I kept those. I was like, I'll just put them up high where you don't have to see them. There was one brewery that I had 2 of the same glass. Okay, we'll get rid of one. Pardon me, I don't need a matching set. Debbie and I aren't sitting down there like Mickey Rourke and Barfly with our matching pint glasses.
Good reference.
But then I also realized I have some beautiful Guinness glasses that are engraved with like my name and the Irish American Heritage Center and stuff. And I'm like, I should use these. I should use some swag glass that I got for free somewhere. These have my name on them and they've got beautiful engravings.
Why aren't you using them?
I don't know. One, because I just forgot. I forgot they were there. They're in another cabinet. Molly, as we were doing this, I found 2 that we got for Molly that we had done. One says Molly and one says Merry Christmas. And I was like, Molly, you got these. You should take them down to your apartment so that when I'm there, I have a glass to drink a beer out of. Because last time I was down there, I went to pick up some beer at a brewery. I had to buy a glass so I'd have something to drink out of.
These deals, they're not pint glasses. What are they?
That's a pint glass.
Pint glasses? Yeah, but all right, fine. Pint glass.
Well, don't be offended. You asked me a question. I answered you.
I did. Thank you. I took this from the old Curiosity office before we moved into Discovery, and it was just in the cabinet. We cleaned the whole place out. They were getting rid of everything, so I took this, and it says 8-Bit Studios on it. You probably can't see that, but it says 8-Bit Studios. I don't know what that is.
Okay.
There's an 8 on the bottom, and then etched along the sides. There's no way you'll be able to see this. It's the city of Chicago. It's like
you should have shown us when you had the stout in it.
Can I turn the light down? Maybe. Oh yeah, the stout in it would have helped, wouldn't it? Maybe if I stick the can in it. Can you see it now? No, you really can't now. Anyway, it doesn't matter, but it's textured, right? So
Right.
it's textured with all these different lines
That sounds cool.
representing the city of Chicago. And it is the only glass I will drink a beer out of. And it's this texture. Because I've had these smooth pint glass. Everybody has those. But the texture, man, I like grabbing it and feeling these lines and just like, this is my beer glass.
It's nice. Yeah, there's certain one. Maria says she made cups out of candle jars. That's classy. You're right, Maria. That is classy. I don't know what a candle jar is, but it sounds classy to me.
When I hosted cooking shows for the Kenmore Live studio, where the camera's always on you, I used to drink out of a mason jar. Mason jar, thematically appropriate.
Molly loves mason jars to drink out of. She's got a bunch of mason jars.
Of course, she lives in New Orleans. She's drinking moonshine all day.
Well, that's true. She does. We're going to have some sort of intervention. But she loves drinking out of mason jars. To me, they're a little kitschy. I like it. I'll drink a nice lemonade out of a mason jar or a sweet tea when I'm sitting on the porch waiting for my wash to be done by the creek.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do that. It'll be fun. But other than that, it's not. Not really. I don't like the rim. I don't like the ridges on where the lid would screw onto the mason jar.
Sure.
Because I dribble a little.
There was a boon for my dad's business. My dad
mason jars.
Yeah, my dad.
Where was your dad in the peach canning business back in the day?
No, my dad, my uncle. It's like a family business. My grandpa owned, and they produce bar supplies. Magnuson Industries.
Wow, okay.
And like a decade or so ago, moonshine started to blow up.
Yeah.
And they all sold it in mason jars, and all these bar owners and all these people started calling my dad, and they're like, you can't pour out of a mason jar.
Oh,
like,
right.
You can't pour, if you're at a bar, you can't pour out of it, right?
Yeah.
So my dad custom designed pours for mason jars.
Nice.
Yeah, it paid the bills for like 5 years because no one else.
Nice.
No one else had it, right? Like they're like, you can't buy like a pour for a mason jar.
No.
So we made a custom mold and all this fancy stuff.
Wow.
And yeah, so if you see a mason jar,
that's very cool.
Yeah, if you see a mason jar with a pour spout on it, it's probably my dad's invention from his company. Pretty cool.
Look at that.
Yeah,
that's very cool.
Mm.
Yeah, moonshine. When we went, it was a few years ago. We went to the Smokies for a vacation. Oh man, they were selling moonshine. Couldn't sell it fast enough, and it was all in mason jars. The beauty is, if you're just buying it for yourself, it doesn't matter if you pour it out. You know where I pour it? Right into my gullet. That's
wow, right into the gullet,
right down my gullet. Roger had a pear tree in your backyard in Evanston. Look at Roger bragging about his fruit trees. Used mason jars to store pears in our cold storage room in the basement.
Ooh,
a lot of people don't know this. Roger is old enough. He was actually a pioneer in the Great Westward Expansion. Roger rode in a Conestoga wagon from upstate New York. And his family, when they got to Chicago, they had all contracted some sort of disease. And so this is where they stayed. And they planted the pear trees, and they tried to make a living as pear purveyors. Now it didn't go quite as expected, but they did have a nice basement with a lot of pear jars in it. You didn't know that about Roger, did you?
I did.
You did? Well, sure you did. We've all been around Roger long enough. Sold them land. Roger said he greeted the pioneers when they arrived.
What do you think of the hair, Brian?
I was going to say your hair is a mess. You don't have any product in it. It looks a little droopy. People like to see your hair bouffanty. They like you to be Elvis meets Robert Goulet meets David Johansen. They like to see a lot of product, a lot of height, a lot of things going on. It looks like it looks like perhaps you haven't showered in a couple of days.
It has damn product. I didn't shower today. That's not a joke. Right. There was product in this yesterday. Thank you very much. I used a comb last week for the first time.
Did you really?
In a year. Because I was like, I got all this hair. What do I do?
Turn to
And
the
I was
side.
like,
Let's see what you got working there.
I was like, I could comb it. So I combed a part in it and then I put gel in it. And now it's mellifluous.
I showered today and I've started using some new product. So on the first day, it keeps things pretty well in place. By tomorrow, things will be up. By today, the last time I did it was Monday. So today, my hair almost looked like the McDonald's Golden Arches. And part of it was going straight up. And I said to Molly and Debbie, I've got to go up and take a shower. And Molly's like, why? I said, look at my hair. And I did this, and my hair was all straight up. And it was terrifying.
You need a haircut.
I probably do. But now I just keep putting this, I don't know, I said to Debbie, I have to get some sort of mousse or gel or something. She said, oh, I have something upstairs. And I don't know what it is. It's a little tin, and it's like white paste, and I just put a little in, and then it's back. So today it's it looks good.
Do you want to start a 90s villain club?
How would we do that? What do we do?
We just slick our hair straight back.
Yeah. What I like about this is it slicks it back, but it's not like flat on my head. There's still, I get a little volume up here, which I like. And tomorrow it'll all be a little more voluminous.
I'm going to get this to you.
Roger says your hair looks a little wispy. Is that a word?
Is he talking to me or you?
I think he's talking to you.
Mm.
Are you going to get a bun? Are you
going to get a bun?
I'm trying. I keep pulling mine back to see if there's any chance I could do it.
Are you going to do it?
Listen, I'm not getting another haircut for a while.
Check this out.
Look at you. Yeah. See, we could do that. You're lucky you still have a nice hairline. Mine goes. One side of mine goes way back. Woo.
What if I get one of those like mohawk things where you just buzz the side? What if I just like buzzed right across here?
I'd like that.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching Forrest Gump last night.
Why?
Because it was on when I was going to bed and I knew I'd fall asleep. But the point was he had his hair real short, but then like right here was shaved real close. So you could do that. I'm starting to show when I have it with this product, there's a lot more gray in it. You can see the gray more. You know? Yeah, look at you, Blue Steel. There, now it looks like you've done it. Now I don't know what you did now, but it looks, oh yeah. You kind of look like every bad 80s teen movie, either villain or jerk or that I don't even want to describe what that just looked like. that was kind of wow. You know, it comes out. You're like the hot for teacher video.
It's good looking, right, dude?
Sure, yeah.
I would bring all the girls to the yard if I were still on the market.
I like that you yelled for comedic effect, and all I could think was, "Oh my God, he's gonna wake up the baby."
No, the baby. No. Usually on Thursday morning at breakfast, my wife will be like, so here are the random words I heard you screaming from your office 9:30 at night for no reason. And I never have any explanation. Ed Grimley, Diane Peterson saying, go for the Ed Grimley look. Ed Grimley
was a Martin Short character on Saturday Night Live. He had one coming up right at the front.
Oh.
Must say. Good hair look, I must say. It's my Ed Grimley.
Wow.
Ed Grimley impression.
All right.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm letting mine go. We'll see. When did I have a haircut? 1st of September. We were down in New Orleans. So 1st of September, that was my only haircut. So I've had one haircut this year. Which, if you think about it, when I used to be one haircut every 3 weeks, that's quite a thing. And like tonight, it looks fine. If we did, I would like one time we should do this first thing in the morning where my hair is just like, I look like, I walked down the other day and Molly, who, if you can't tell by now, Molly always good with making me feel good. She's good with those affirmations, building me up. She goes, wow, I am getting a real Sideshow Bob vibe off of you. Because it was just like, whew. And it's weird for me. I still find myself, like tonight it doesn't move. But when it does move, I find myself like, because I haven't had that feeling in 30 years. And now I look back and I'm like, why did I keep my hair that short for all those years?
Why?
I don't know. Laziness.
I know.
What is it?
It's because you needed to look like the picture in your headshots.
That's probably true.
It's the same reason I kept mine the exact same style for 10 years.
Well, yeah, now I'm thinking, I not that my agent is calling me for any auditions, but
I got one like EcoCast audition.
Did you?
Yeah, where it was like, hey, self-tape yourself. And I got the email the day after my son was born. We were still in the hospital.
Oh, okay.
So I replied and it was like, yeah, I just had a baby. So can I get back to you and maybe do auditions starting in like 2 weeks? I don't know if that agent represents me anymore. I never heard back. Feel kind of bad about that.
I often wonder if my agent still represents me. Because I'll send him an email and go, hey, it's been a year and a half. The last thing I went out on, I booked, which was Chicago Med. The 3 things I went out before that, I was on Avails. So I was on a pretty good roll, and whatever.
Probably not a lot of roles right now.
No, it's a lot of these self-tapes, which are a nightmare. But now I'm feeling more technologically confident, so maybe I could do them.
Yeah.
I don't know. When did you decorate? I saw you've lost the battle of your wife keeping your child off social media.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say what social media channel I saw your baby on, but he was gorgeous and he was right next to your Christmas tree. When did you decorate for Christmas?
We got a real tree on Black Friday.
Nice. Did you go to a tree farm? Did you go to Home Depot? Where'd you get your tree?
We went to the Dairy Queen parking lot in Lombard.
That's the best place because you get a blizzard and a tree.
Dude, the Dairy Queen was closed. We didn't get a blizzard. Very upsetting.
You weren't able to get a peanut butter parfait? Nothing?
No peanut butter parfait.
Ugh. Were they closed because they were selling Christmas trees or just because, is it one of those just walk up old school Dairy Queens that closes every winter?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Not a DQ Brazier?
Mm-mm.
All right. So you went to Dairy Queen? I'm not trying to invade your privacy, but I haven't bought a real tree ever. I've always had artificial trees. But I remember going to buy real trees with my parents and then with my mom after my dad died. They were fairly, they were getting up there. What does a tree go for in general? What'd you get, like a 7-footer?
Probably 7 foot or so. I think it was like $60 or $70.
Well, that's not too bad. What kind did you get?
I believe it's a Douglas fir.
Ooh. Douglas fir was the tree of choice in the Noonan house my entire childhood.
And in Twin Peaks.
Was it really?
Yeah. First episode, when Agent Cooper's there, he's like, what are those trees? And he's like, Douglas fir. He's like, Douglas fir.
Douglas fir, very nice. According to Monique, the Dairy Queen opens again in March. The tree place is there every year.
Nice.
Thank you, Monique.
Yeah, it was good. They were very nice. It was run by the local YMCA people. They were very, very friendly. Helped us get everything. Got a wreath. It was very nice.
They help you tie it to the car?
They did not help.
You got that family-friendly Subaru. That's a perfect tie a tree to the top of the car vehicle.
No, I don't think anyone's allowed to, because when I got some stuff at Menards and they wouldn't help me tie it, and then they wouldn't help me tie it here. So it's like a liability thing, I think.
Oh no. Okay.
But I had never gotten a real tree until I met my wife, and she was like, "We're getting a real tree." So every year we've had a real tree.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's right. And the reason I don't have a real tree is because when I moved out of my parents' house and I was living alone, I was on the road. But I had a real tree in my apartment in Sparta right after I graduated from college. When I moved out and I was doing comedy, I was on the road, but I still wanted the place to be decorated when I came home. So I had my very first credit card, and Debbie and I went to American Sale, and I bought a really nice artificial tree, because then it looked the same when I came home. I didn't have to worry about it being on fire. And so from then on, we always just had artificial trees. And I said, actually the other day we put up the tree, and I said, if you guys ever want to get a real tree, I can't smell it, but if you want. And they were both like, no, so I guess we're artificial in this house. We are team artificial tree. But the Douglas fir was I remember My mom and dad, it was always a Douglas fir. And then for some reason, at some point, after my brothers and I had all moved out, it went to Fraser fir.
Huh.
And Fraser fir became the tree. But yeah, Douglas fir, good for you.
I'm not anti-artificial at all. In fact, I like lighting better on artificial because I'm so paranoid about the fire hazard that I only will put LED lights on the real tree because there's no heat generation, right?
Right.
And I won't put real lights on, which like you can do. We keep it watered. Like
Sure.
we have a humidistat, we're good. But I just won't do it. So in the LEDs, they don't pop as much as
no, they're not quite as bright. Well, you think about all those years. I mean, think back to like when your parents even were little or when they first had my mom and dad, I remember, had those big ass bulbs that were like little flamethrowers. They were so big. And you'd keep water in the tree. It's not going to burn down, hopefully, because they had not only those big, really hot bulbs. I saw pictures of like when my parents were first married and my first Christmas that not only the really hot bulbs, but then tons and tons of tinsel on the tree. It was like, why not just have a tire fire in the living room? It was insanity. But, if you keep it watered, Sally says a tree farm in Iowa, $8 a foot. White pine, it's a beauty, fit right in the bed of the truck. They shook it, put the netting. We were in lumberjacks there. See, that sounds fun. Roger hasn't bought a real tree in at least 15 years. It was down the alley. Carol had to take a training class at Home Depot that taught him not to tie things to the top of the cars. Oh, all right. And you were right, Cody. It is liability, according to Carol.
We live in a litigious society.
Yeah. So you went to the Dairy Queen. Did you and the whole family go? Did you bring the little baby with you to pick out the tree?
Oh, yeah. He was great. He was either screaming or evacuating every liquid from his body the entire time. Like we took him out of the car seat and it was just like, like we wiped off the concrete in the parking lot because he made such a mess. We were disgusted at what he left in the parking lot. He was just like, here are everything I have right on the table. And then he was chill for about 2 minutes and he was really cute for a picture. And then he just started screaming the entire time I'm tying it to the, and of course I'm tying it to the roof, right? And what is my wife doing? Tell me how I'm doing it wrong. So to be fair, I was probably doing it wrong because I don't know how to do that. So
yeah, but if it doesn't fly off your car by the time you get from the Dairy Queen to your house, you did it right.
I got some plywood at Menards like a month ago, and I tied it to the tip of my car, and it almost flew off. And I was traumatized from it because I thought I'm going to kill somebody with this plywood. I pulled over to the side of the road and I just put it next to a dumpster, like at a gas station.
The plywood you did?
Yeah, I was like, if I drive any further with this, it will fly off and kill someone.
Did you only have it tied crosswise, or did you have it lengthwise?
I had it tied 18 different ways. I don't know how to do it. No one trained me. I don't watch some YouTube videos.
I'm sure there's a YouTube video for that. I one time tried to bring one of those blue plastic kiddie pools home with no rope, just holding it to the top of the car. Because I got that brute kind of force. It was a nightmare. I had to go. It was I bought it at Venture when I was living at my parents' house. And it has to be no more than, if it's 2 miles, that's as far as it could be. So I'm trying to drive my Cavalier with a blue plastic kiddie pool on top of it. My arm out the window, holding onto the lip of the kiddie pool because I didn't have any rope. And I didn't think this through before I decided I'm going to go get a little pool so I can sit in my parents' backyard and, have a beer in a pool. It took to go those 2 miles must have taken me more than a half hour because I could not go more than 5 miles an hour or the wind was picking up this pool. And it was like a bad comb over. It would just flip like this. And the only reason it didn't go flying was because I had just enough grip on that little lip of the pool that it didn't go flying down Halsted Street.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
not a fan.
Roger, we miss you too. We'll see you later. Roger is ducking out. So now the tree obviously made it home.
Oh yeah, it was like
Now, did you have to do, this is what I remember from real trees, and correct me if I'm wrong, if this is still not a thing. So like we would get the real tree and we would put it in the garage for a night in a bucket of water so that it could fall, so that the branches would open up. And then, well, first you had to cut like a couple inches off the bottom of the trunk.
they cut it. They
cut that. Then we would put it in a bucket of water in the garage and let it fall. Then we bring it into the house and it would let it sit overnight in the warm house, and it would open up more. And then the next day we would decorate it. Did you do any of that?
Nope.
That's probably best.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's best. You know what's really cute though? They were so cool. The lady there was like, all right, how much do you want me to cut off? And we're like, yeah, like this much or whatever. She's like, okay, first I'm going to cut off a real thin sliver so that you have an ornament for the baby.
Oh, nice.
So we're going to write something on it. And I've got all this polyurethane in the garage. I'm going to polyurethane it and cover it and seal it. So it's like first Christmas ornament for first Christmas tree for baby. I'm very excited.
That's very cool.
It was very thoughtful. I wouldn't have
That is very thoughtful. See, listen, you tell me that story, I have a glimmer of hope for humanity. A glimmer. Let's not get crazy. Let's not get carried away. But that's very sweet.
It was great. Really
that's very sweet. Now, had you gone out previously and bought yourself a nice stand, or did it come with a stand? Or you had a stand from before?
We had a couple stands from before.
A couple stands.
Yeah. Yeah. And in Chicago, in Chicago, it was like, we always paid more than $100 for a real tree. Granted, they were 9 feet tall because we had vaulted ceilings.
Right.
But we always paid a pretty penny. So we were pretty happy with, you get between $50 and $70, you can get a pretty good sized Christmas tree. We have a real tree every year.
Yeah. So you got it all decorated. The house is all done?
No.
Oh.
You've seen my house.
Your house. I was going to ask because you have, I'm wondering what you're going to do for the exterior, because I'm guessing your neighborhood is one of these Clark Griswold kind of neighborhoods where people are doing some impressive outdoor illumination.
Not our block.
Okay.
Because we're not really a through street. Like you kind of get to the end and there's a school.
Right.
And there's not a lot of, after 5 p.m., 3 cars will go by. The rest of
there's houses. There's people live there. I've seen your house. You have neighbors.
There are. Our block isn't too competitive. The neighborhood writ large is very competitive. Here's the problem. I decorated the porch and I did this whole wraparound with icicle lights. And I was like, this is great. Then I drive by the house and I realized that half of the house is lit because the porch only extends for the half of the house. And you've got the garage on the other side and there's nothing. So I've got to decorate around the garage. So we've got some work to do.
Okay.
We've got some work to do. Now, how about you? How many trees do you have up this year?
Well, it's, we've gone to a smaller house. So we have
4.
Well, we have 2 full-size trees. We have a small desktop tree in Molly's room. I have a pop-up tree here in the office. We have a ceramic tree on top of the china cabinet. And are you going to count the Charlie Brown Christmas tree back there?
No.
Okay. Then that's the trees.
Okay. That's close.
This is how you know you've been a suburban person or a homeowner for a long time, where I was watching the weather before Thanksgiving and it kept saying Saturday it was going to be 50. And I was like, then Saturday's the day. Saturday is Christmas outdoor decoration day, because that's it. I don't have to do it in the cold. It's going to be great. Now, some in the neighborhood had their Christmas decorations up for a couple weeks. I still couldn't do it. I still have to wait.
There's a lot of that here.
I think, you know what it is? It's the pandemic. People are trying to, it is. People want something to feel good about. And so, you get the Christmas lights up and you can see, and the neighborhoods all look nice with the lights. So yeah, I get that. But I was like, all right, Saturday's going to be the day. So Friday, I worked the day after Thanksgiving. I worked at WTMJ, got off the air at 3, and I went out because we have this blow mold, this plastic molded Santa Snoopy that we have had we had it before Molly was born. So it's got to be, I figured it out. It was 26 Christmases we have used this Snoopy. He has traveled from Calumet City out to California, where the first year I had to rig him up so I could balance him on the balcony of our condo and I used hook and eyes to get him hooked on to the building so that he wouldn't fall off the balcony. He's made it back here to a couple places. 2 years ago, I was trying to get him off the shelf and he fell. And part of the nose got broken. But you know me, I don't want to throw things out. So I've taken white, like waxy kind of paper. I fixed it. I gave him a nose job. I gave him some rhinoplasty. And we've kept him. And every year, I think this might be the last for Snoopy, because every year I have to take him apart and reattach the light bulb to the back with a myriad of intricate duct tape patterns, and I get him out. So I knew I was going to have to do this. So Friday I spent getting Snoopy ready for another year and checking all the lights. So Saturday I went out and I started, and my neighbor was like, oh, because last year I have these two very tall bushes. They go, my house, it's a 2-story Georgian style house, and I have 2 bushes that go all the way to the 2nd story. But I have one of those, a pole, which you may want to get, where you can hang lights on trees. So I have some ideas for your house. I think I have some ideas for you. But anyway, there's it's an extendable pole where you can put lights up in trees and stuff. So last year, my neighbor had asked how I got my lights up there. And I was like, well, I have this pole. You can borrow it if you want. He goes, no, I'm not going to bother with it this year. So I see him on Saturday. He goes, Brian, I listened to you last year. I bought one of those poles. I'm going all the way up with the lights this year. Like, all right, that's excellent. This is the same guy who told Walter he was not a country dog anymore. He was a city dog. So Rodney was going to decorate, but he was like, I knew it. I knew today. I told my wife that you were going to be out here. Today was the day you were going to decorate the house. I said, yeah. He goes, I can't do it today. I got to watch the Auburn football game. I said, okay, well, it's supposed to be okay tomorrow too. He's like, yeah. Anyway, so I test all the lights. Now I tested them before I put them back in the box last year. They all worked. I test them again before I put them out. It's like that scene in Christmas Vacation. Russ, did you test every light? Yeah, Dad. There were like 5 strings. And I was like, good. And I toss them. So now I'm out there and I have mix and match bulbs. I have like 8 strands that are red, green, and white. I have some just straight up white ones. I have a couple blue strands from because over the years, as the house in Frankfurt, we had 1 million trees, and I did all the trees out front and all the trees in the back. Then we moved, we downsized. I didn't have to have as many, but I kept all the bulbs. Anyway, so I'm out there. Now it's all right. How many? And you've known me long enough to know how anal I'm going to be about this. Mm-hmm. How can I divide these up so each bush has the same amount of lights of the same color? And what should I do as the center? And I worked, I don't know, like 5-6 hours to get the yard all done.
Wow.
And Molly and Debbie, they had been doing something in the house. Then they went to get lunch. Then they went to the store to pick something up. And they came back and Molly's like, have you been working this whole time? Yeah. But, once I get the lights in the bushes, then it's set up. We have this big pop-up snowman and these snowman lights, and Snoopy's got to get his place. And this year I decided I was going to stake Snoopy in so that he couldn't tip over if the wind got high. We got a new nativity scene out front. So all of that. Yeah, it's very nice. Because here's the nativity scene story. So when I moved, my mom and dad had for years had this wooden, it's like a silhouette nativity scene. It was just white wood, and it was an outline of like the barn, and there was an outline of Mary and Joseph and Jesus. It was very simple, very plain and simple. And they would set it up in the yard and just shine a spotlight on it. And it was beautiful. And they got it from a guy who did all these kind of wood carvings, and he would put them out over the holidays, and he lived next to a gas station in Chicago Heights. So this is where they had originally got this nativity scene. When we moved back from California, we moved back in the fall, and as Christmas was coming, my mom said, oh, you're going to have to decorate your house, right? And I said, yeah, I got to find some stuff. I don't really have anything. I got some stuff. And she said, oh, okay. Then she shows up at my house a week later she had gone up to this guy's yard, and he sold them right out of his yard. She'd gone up to his yard and bought this nativity scene and brought it over to our house. And it was very nice. And we used it forever. But the problem was it was just plywood. And I had repainted it a couple times. But because it's out in Chicago in the elements, it had warped, it had swollen, a part of it had broken off. Hers the same way. I tried fixing hers last year. I put it up and I was like, Ma, I don't know how many more years you're going to get out of this because you can't get really the pieces together, the whole thing. So last month she goes, hey, I was thinking about what you said last year about my nativity scene. I was like, yeah. I said, I'll come out and put yours up again. She goes, no, I found these ones made of PVC. They look pretty much the same. Long story short, she bought herself and us a brand new nativity set because I had to get rid of mine. I had to get rid of mine 2 Christmases ago because it had warped and swollen too much that the pieces wouldn't go together anymore. So I got rid of it. And so now I've got this new PVC, very lightweight, very stealthy. And since I was able to figure out, what to do, Saturday I'm going out to my mom's to put up all her decorations because I always put up her tree and then I do her yard.
Sure.
And so, but yeah, so the yard is done, and the inside of the house, Debbie took the week off. I told you. So Sunday and Monday we're done. So by last night, the entire place was finished, inside and out. Unbelievable. December 1st. I don't know what we're going to do the rest of December. I said, what are we going to do now? We don't have to panic. Everywhere I look, it's like Christmas threw up all over our house. I stood downstairs and I turned 360 degrees. There wasn't a degree I went that I didn't see something Christmassy. Then I'm here in the office. Christmas. Everywhere. I walk outside the door. Full size white tropical Christmas tree right outside. Fantastic. Does the dragon have his hat on? Yes. I knew it. I love that the dragon wears a hat.
Can I tell you about something even better than that?
Please. I'm done talking.
I love all of our commenters. I love when people get involved so much. But I think my favorite comment of the night is from Carol, who said, I miss the Santa house in Lombard. You elaborated on what you meant, but I immediately knew what you meant, Carol. Brian, I'm going to try and share my screen. Right. I think it'll let me do this. Let's see if it
sounds phenomenal.
Do you see it?
Oh my God. I do. Hold on. I got to bring it up. There it is.
Do you see it? It's a video my wife took. Look at this house. It is an army. It's on Main Street in Lombard.
What I love is there's nothing else on the house. There's no other lights on the porch or on the trees or anything. It's just a million blown plastic Santas on the yard.
This is the most extraordinary house in all of Lombard. It
oh my God.
So happy. It's like an art installation. There's got to be, I mean, how many, 3, 6, there's got to be 70.
Are those snowmen down by the curb there?
I'm not sure. I mean, that's
oh
how
my
many
God.
It's so many.
That is insanity.
It's so funny. I think there's snowmen.
Like, one, where do you store? Because those don't collapse. Those are sculptures. Where do you store?
Where do you store them? That's what I said to. Yes, that's what I said to my wife. I'm like, there's a whole basement and just like a bunch of Santas.
Yeah, or you've got to have the money to have a storage or a giant shed in your backyard.
Mm-hmm.
That is amazing.
I'm so glad Carol brought that up. Like,
and those plastic things are not cheap.
I know.
Those are not cheap at all.
And the fact that Carol said, I missed the Santa house in Lombard that implies that it's been around for several years.
Yeah, that's not the first year that house has been that way.
I walked by and I drove by it when I went on my Bourbon County extravaganza. And I was like, I have to tell Casey about this. And I forgot. And then that night she was like, I'm going to go for a walk. And she walked around and she sends me a video the second she walks by. And I was like, oh, I meant to say something to you about that.
That is unbelievably great.
That is the best.
There was, when we lived in Lombard, there was a street that had 3 houses next door to each other. Berwyn. You live in Lombard.
I do.
Shh. It's the perfect
Ish.
Ish. So when I lived in Berwyn, there were 3 houses together. And they, between the 3 of them, must have had 150 to 200 of those plastic blow mold things out. It was insanity. And there was no rhyme or reason. The yard was packed, the porches were packed, the gangways were filled. It was cool. And yet it was like, man, these people have some sort of illness because this is insanity.
Carol
But
in
that
the
Santa
chat,
house is great.
Carol in the chat just said that Santa display is done by the second owner of that house. The original owner had many, many more Santas.
How can that possibly be?
That's
How
extraordinary.
could you have many, many more? And I wonder if this second owner had inherited some of the ones from the first owner, because where are you going to go?
Yeah.
Now there is a place, not far, well, it's in LaGrange, so not too far from you. It's an antique store, and they specialize in these old blow mold kind of things. Because I'll drive by every year, and there's just millions of vintage. They've got all the Christmas ones. They have some other holidays too. I drove by, was it yesterday? I was on my way back from going to Sam's and Walmart and stuff. And I drive by, and in the window, they had a mint condition Snoopy, like our Snoopy. But every time we've seen one, they've been like $150. And I think now, granted, we've had ours, like I said, for 26 years. I think we paid $25 or $30 for it back then. And that was a lot. I'm like, and I'll say to Debbie, what do you think? Should we do it? No, we can't spend that kind of money on a Snoopy. Okay. Well, what are these years we might not? And Molly looks every year. She goes, every year I look on the web trying to find just in case this is the year that Snoopy doesn't make it. If we need to replace Snoopy, I'm like, we'll see. We'll see. Maria says some should have had leg lamps like the can. Oh, that would have been fun. You know, the from A Christmas Story, Major Award. If you had all those out on the lawn, that would have been fun too. But that Santa thing, you got to. So is that close to your house? It must be, because you said your wife walked by it. Right?
Oh yeah, we can walk it's a few blocks away. Oh my God. But yeah, we
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do to? Come on.
I mean, we can't compete with that. No,
I'm just gonna first year, but you can start. You can start building.
Well, that's the thing. We got to start building. But I've started kind of lurking on Nextdoor and on Facebook Marketplace for local deals. Yes. Anywhere I can. I like the places where I can walk, within a mile.
Sure.
Because I don't like to drive. I learned after driving to Tinley Park to get beer that it's not, in fact, worth driving 40 minutes for pretty much anything. So,
you don't like? Oh, see, I like driving. You don't like it?
Nah.
You're not used to it. You're not used to it still.
I don't mind driving, but I miss my kid.
Give it a few years. You'll want that 40 minutes away.
I'm sure I will, but
now I get it. Right now I understand.
Yeah, if the choice is, well, and we're pretty isolated, right? So
sure.
If it was like, oh, my parents are dropping in because they live a mile away,
right.
Yeah, I was always around people growing up. Always a ton of family.
Oh yeah, no, and listen, your son will be around everybody come the spring and summer. This is the best time. This is the best time for him to be going through this, because he doesn't really know now. He's still figuring out his hands. So by the summer, when he's getting closer to a year old, he'll be with grandma and grandpa and his aunt and uncles, and he'll be able to. You'll take him to the park. Right now, plus it's cold now. You wouldn't be taking him anywhere anyway, really, except for Christmas maybe. So this will not affect him. It's affecting you and Casey more. He won't even remember. You'll tell him the story of the year he was born, and he'll be like, really? That's weird. He doesn't know. He's brand new. Yeah. He's still a lump of clay. He's figuring it out. So this is perfect for him.
I'm not worried about it, but yeah, 40 minutes is It's fine. I can do it. It's just that I was like, yeah, it's like a Saturday. I could be hanging out with my kid and my wife.
No, I get it. I get it. That makes sense. It's good. You know what? How can he miss you if you never leave, Cody?
But am I going to drive 40 minutes to get like a Christmas towel from someone on Craigslist? I think I'll just look local.
I got to be honest. Some of the stuff that Debbie has sold through these groups, the places people are coming from to get it, it's like, seriously? Oh, okay. It's good for you. So I get it. Christine is correct. The store is in Countryside. It's got to be right on the border of Countryside and LaGrange or LaGrange Park. Anyway, it's right on, it's right on LaGrange. It's on Manheim. It's on 45, right there at like 47th Street, I think, or Plainfield Road. Anyway, so what are you thinking? What have you seen anything that catches your eye as you drive? I suffered tonight from snowman envy because last year we bought a new snowman for the yard, and I really like him, but he's like 6 feet. He's a pop-up. He's not an inflatable, which I've gotten out of the inflatable business, but this one stays up all the time. So it doesn't look like something melted on your grass. And then I have a timer on the whole house. So when 4:30, when it gets dark, bang, the whole house illuminates. Hello.
You have a tiger around the whole house?
Timer. I wish I had a tiger.
Is it a snow leopard?
No, it's a Bengal. Full-size tiger. I got it from 50 Cent. All the rappers had tigers for a while. They wanted to get rid of them. I got it cheap. You wouldn't believe what I paid for this tiger from 50.
Yeah, but then you got to go dumpster dive at Walmart for meat.
Doesn't matter. There's a lot of possums and squirrels and small dogs, which is another reason Molly is panicked about Walter. That tiger is looking at Walter like, man, you are a crudité.
How do you feel about inflatables?
You know me, I loved inflatables. I had inflatables for years and years and years. I have an inflatable Frankenstein for Halloween that I've had for over 20 years.
Oh, that's cool.
So my Christmas inflatables and have all over the years gone on to the great inflatable graveyard in the sky because of just the elements. So I'm not opposed to inflatables. I'm picky about inflatables. Some look better than others. That's why I like this tree, because it's not an inflatable, and it looks good. But now this year, they've got bigger ones, the same basic style and fabric and everything, but they're bigger. And I've seen 2 or 3 of them in the neighborhood. And I saw one at Costco, and I was like, ooh. So tonight I was out and I saw a couple of these bigger ones, and I had envy for my snowman. But I wouldn't mind, I like an inflatable. The only problem is that they deflate during the day because you're not supposed to leave them on for more than 8 hours. So you got to deflate them during the day, and then it just looks like everything melted on your grass.
I see. I like inflatables for size, right? They're efficient. You get one, right. Pop fills the space, but it's not our aesthetic. And we're more to the plastic. Well, we don't have any all we have is lights right now, but I'm working on the look. We're cultivating.
Well, you got to kind of figure out what you're going to go for, and go from there. I've always been kind of kitschy, and there's been a lot of different things because like I said, I've got the nativity scene, which last year I think was the only year I didn't have it. So part of the yard is that simple nativity scene. And then I've got a mix. I've got a mix of, the blow mold Snoopy, but then I have some stake lights that are Santas, some snowmen, and I've got this new snowman that collapses down. So you kind of, I mix it up. But yeah, you got to decide on your look.
They should sell a plastic Bruce Willis from Die Hard. I would love to do a Die Hard Christmas scene.
They have an inflatable Buddy the Elf and an inflatable Chevy Chase from Vacation getting shocked by all his lights. But I have not seen it. I have not seen a Bruce Willis.
That's the best Christmas movie.
I just read something today about whether, again, whether it was a Christmas movie or not.
It's a Christmas movie.
That seems to be the official line now, that it is a Christmas movie.
Takes place on Christmas. How much more Christmassy can you get?
Listen, I'm not going to argue one way or another.
Yeah.
I think it's great. Like a nice yippee-ki-yay MFer. Like a Hans Gruber falling to his death.
Movies. It's the first Christmas movie I watched with my wife and her family.
Have you watched any others this year yet? Have you started?
We didn't even watch we listened to the soundtrack, but we didn't watch the Charlie Brown Christmas special. But I listen to the soundtrack every year as we decorate.
Very nice.
What's your favorite Christmas song?
My favorite Christmas song? Well, my favorite Christmas album, bar none, is Chicago 25. Their Christmas album.
What?
Chicago, the band?
Yeah, no, I know the band. They did a Christmas album?
They've done 2, but their first one was Chicago 25, and it is phenomenal. I love it. It's the harmonies and the horns and the majesty. It's great. I can't listen to it enough.
How have I never heard of that?
I will have to. We had this conversation because we realized we don't have a CD player in the house anymore. So I have to put the CDs on the computer so that I can then put them on my phone and play them through the little portable speakers while I'm downstairs. Because I play them in the car. That's my favorite. And then the Alligator Christmas album. It's blues Christmas songs. Santa Claus Wants Some Lovin'. Backdoor Santa. Hard to Be a Single Mom on Christmas. Those are my favorites.
I'm looking up Chicago 25 on Spotify.
You got to look up Chicago 25. The cover is just like a wreath.
All right.
And it is, I remember I bought it for Debbie on Christmas when we were living in California. And I remember having to go to the mall because I couldn't find it at any stores. And I finally found it at the mall.
Oh, it's in Roman numerals. So it's Chicago
XXV.
Yeah.
Chicago XXV, the Christmas album. It's phenomenal.
Huh.
Now, we can't play any of it here because we did that once and then Facebook spanked me.
Well, they have Chicago 26 on Spotify, but not Chicago 25.
I know. Trust me. The other day I wanted to put it on while I was decorating the tree or putting up the tree and stuff. No, they had one song on Spotify.
So this is like rare.
It is very rare.
Huh.
But if you, I'd be happy to lend it to you. You can burn it yourself. But that is my favorite. I will listen to that nonstop.
There's one in stock on Amazon, $7 free shipping.
You should buy it. If you like Chicago, if you like the band, you should buy the album.
I want to know if they have it on vinyl.
And I am not getting anything from Chicago for that. The Grinch, Wendy said The Grinch. We watched The Grinch. I even watched The Grinch with commercials the other night because we were having dinner and The Grinch was coming on. I was like, let's watch The Grinch. And then I know all the words. And Molly knows most of the words, and Debbie knows about a quarter of the words, but Debbie was the most aggressive trying to quote the Grinch. I was like, so Molly was all upset. Don't say it if you don't know all the words. $7, right. You should get it.
I'll look.
Yeah. It's I think it's there's a power behind the horns, and it's very, it's all the traditional Christmas carols. It's not original songs or anything. It's, "O Come All Ye Faithful" and the Christmas, those, it just, "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas." It's just really good.
Sweet.
So I know you always like the Charlie Brown Christmas album, which
good.
I have as well.
So good. I've always historically loved the classics. I like Holly Jolly Christmas by Burl Ives. Mm-hmm. A little bit of Christmas song by
Johnny Mathis, Nat King Cole.
Nat King Cole, right? Some of that. Blue Christmas, Elvis only. Any other version is garbage.
Horrible.
Don't at me. But for some reason last year, All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
I just became obsessed with it. And then all week this week, it was stuck in my head, but I didn't listen to it. I put on
Okay.
like Spotify Christmas classics. I'm listening to Burl Ives, Nat King Cole, Frank Sinatra, all that, all the old stuff, and it's great. That song's not on there. And then today in the car, I was like, it's been in my head for a couple days, and playing it back in my head, I'm like, it's not that good, right? It's that good.
Yeah, I know it's hip either to really like it or really hate it.
Is it?
I'm neutral on it. I mean, if it comes on, I'm not going to go, I got to turn it off. I enjoy the video.
I mean,
but
come on.
Yeah. But it's not one of those that I don't mind it. Like the other day I had on Sirius has a bunch of Christmas channels.
Mm.
So I was listening to Sirius as I was doing all my stuff inside, because outside I was listening to 80s and 90s party country while I was doing the yard.
Nice.
But I don't mind All I Want for Christmas Is You. I like that. Debbie is a huge fan of the Muppet Christmas album, the original Muppet Christmas album. So we will listen. The CDs we get played in the car. But now, I'm going to change all that. But yeah, the Muppet Christmas album, Debbie loves. I like the Chicago one. We like the Alligator Christmas one. There's I also a very special Christmas. This was back, you're probably too young to remember it, but they came out and it was various artists. Like Run DMC Christmas in Hollis was on there, and they did like 3 different versions. It was a very special Christmas. Then the next couple years, a few more came out, and I like those too. Like Run DMC is on there. Springsteen, Santa Claus is Coming to Town is on there. A lot of those kind of, they're more rock kind of Christmas songs. So I like those. Because I don't dislike the classics. I just kind of listen to more of a more eclectic mix of Christmas songs.
The one I've been really into singing along with is the one that's like, Merry, Merry Christmas. Da, da, da. Merry, Merry Christmas. Da, da, da. That one?
Yeah.
Who is that?
I don't know. That's not Very Special Christmas, is it? A very special Christmas.
Yeah, it's like dun, 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 like between it. Sounds right.
It's on. Hold on. I pulled it up. Oh no, that's the album on Wikipedia.
It's got that horn. It's like dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. I can't play this on the ocarina, or I would.
Yeah, I would love to hear that. Now we need you to practice before the big before we have the big Christmas show.
Christmas show? We doing that?
Yeah, we're gonna have a Christmas or a holiday show.
Just like we do. We're doing a Christmas show.
We'll do it on the 22nd.
That's a Christmas show. When is Hanukkah this year?
I don't know. I have to look up when Hanukkah is.
Thursday, December 10th to Friday, December 18th. Let's have Roger on next on the
Roger on the 15th.
15th. There you go.
Roger or the 16th, rather. Roger on the 16th.
16th. No, it's like 15th.
Well, the 15th is a Tuesday.
Oh, then 16th. Then we do it
on the 22nd.
We're doing it on the 23rd.
So the 16th, we'll have Roger on. We'll do some Shaka Hanukkah, and he can talk about all his the bread that he's been making, and we always like to have Roger on around the holidays. So we'll do, all right, I'll reach out to Roger. We'll have Roger on the 16th, and then we'll see what's going on, if we're going to do the 23rd or not. Because somebody said today, I posted that we were going to be on tonight, and somebody's like, you got to tell the eggnog stories. So Molly will have to make an appearance to tell the Walgreens eggnog story, and you'll have to share your eggnog recipe, and we'll nog it up. That whatever night we do that, we'll nog it up.
Yeah. The other night, my wife was like, "I feel like eggnog and brandy," and I searched the liquor cabinet. We were out of brandy, so I ran to Walgreens.
Oh no!
I get a lot of brandy. Yeah, it was good.
Because I always have liquor around, especially holiday liquor that I know, because I buy the big bottle, even though that way if I don't, I have it. So now I have brandy for this year.
It's cheap too.
Yeah, you can get some good brandy. I have to go buy a couple Christmas beers. That's the next thing.
To to go full circle in our
let's
whole
put a bow
podcast,
on this thing.
She felt like a nog and brandy, so I made some. It was good. I forgot the whipped cream though, so we got to do a do-over. But the Saturday before that, when we did our happy hour, I excitedly opened a Kentucky Fog variant of the Bourbon County Stout. Have you had it?
I have not.
It's
the one with the tea made with the Earl Grey, correct?
Yeah. So this year, one of the Bourbon County Stout varieties has like a Earl Grey tea, as Brian said, and some honey kind of notes in it. The online consensus is that you either love or hate this beer.
Yeah.
I did not care for it at all.
Okay.
Like, to the degree that, like, you know how, like, with Bourbon County Stout, it's typically like, oh, it's my least favorite one. It's still like an 8.5 out of 10.
Right.
No, I really disliked it.
Oh, wow.
Like,
Okay.
I didn't want to finish my glass. And my wife loved it.
Really?
Yeah. And she'll have a few sips of, you know, the varieties, and she'll be like,
right.
This is all right. Usually they're too sweet for her. She was all over it. She finished the bottle.
Wow.
So if you are going to go check out some Bourbon County Stout, I can drink the special number 4 all day.
Okay.
That one just,
you love the coffee infused ones.
but it's so subtle this year, you know? Like last year it tastes like a cup of coffee. This year, like to me, it's just
Well, it's because it's the oatmeal. I think it's the oatmeal. The oatmeal stout changes it a little bit.
Yeah, it's just so balanced to me that it's like, I would take that over any other variety, including original. I just think that just hits the spot.
Okay.
For me anyway. But if you're curious about Kentucky Fog, don't buy 2 or 3 bottles. Just buy one to see what you think. And maybe it'll be your favorite beer ever, but it was not mine. So that
is good. That's good advice.
But
see, and I with the special number 4, I liked it, but I liked what I drank, and I drank the bottle of it over 2 days. I don't know if I would get it again.
Yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, we'll see.
I
like the Carmela. I tend to like the original is always good, but yeah, the special, I'm like, I don't know.
I've got like 4 bottles of special number 4, and I'm going to drink them all. It's going to be good.
Look at you. All right, let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
Next week when we're back, Craig will be here. That is the 9th of December. Can you believe it?
No.
It'll be the 9th of December. Well, good luck deciding what you want to do with your outdoor. I wish I had known. I came across a bunch of lights and stuff that I don't use anymore, but I donated. So
we got lights. It's other stuff we're figuring out.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing. I found my plaque, my certificate from when I won the Neighborhood Beautification Award. That's right. The Village of Frankfurt awarded it to my home. So, it's a difficult decision to see what you want to do. But good luck. Next week we'll get an update on what you've decided to do with your yard.
Maybe if it's exciting. I don't know. Your updates are more exciting.
No, that's not true. We have a lot of updates. We'll both have updates. We'll have things. Craig will be back. We'll have an update with Craig. That's it. Tell everybody about the Curiosity Daily podcast before we go.
Well, I'm back on. We record ahead, so I'm trying to think of when you'll actually hear me on it. Will you hear me starting Monday, or hold on? What is Monday?
Monday's the 7th.
Yeah, I'm back on Monday. So
there you go. Very nice.
If you go to curiositydaily.com, it's a daily 10-minute science educational podcast. Super fun. My co-host Ashley is freaking awesome. Natalia is a very talented lady that filled in for me while I was on paternity leave. They were super great together. But I'm back on next week.
Terrific.
It's a great show. It's award-winning. It's really fun. Check it out, curiositydaily.com.
All right, part of the Discovery family of brands. And I will remind you, but I will be on next Tuesday, the 8th of December. I'll be on WTMJ again, and then the 11th. So I'll keep you updated on that. We will keep you updated on this. As always, we thank you for watching. We thank you for commenting. Thank you for spreading the word. Don't forget, now, I forgot. I was going to give the big exciting. I don't know how exciting it is, but the audio of this, the Quarantine Cast with Brian, Cody, and Craig, is now available on Spotify. It's now available on Google Podcasts. It's available on Anchor. It's available on 2 other platforms that I can't remember.
Stitcher.
And what's that?
Stitcher.
Stitcher is it all got applied today. I'm waiting for the final thing to kick in. Apple Podcasts, there was an issue. That issue was corrected, and now I'm waiting again for the technical people from Anchor to get that all straightened out. So hopefully by next week we're on 2 more platforms. We're all over. We can't be stopped. We can't. We won't. All right, that was excessive. Next week I will not be drinking Bourbon County Stout during the program. That'll be fun. Maybe I'll just drink water.
Maybe I will be.
Yeah, let's all. Who are we kidding? I said all week. I was like, I'm saving up so that's what I'm going to have on Wednesday with
Get
Cody.
some Imperial pajamas from Beguile.
I have some. I'll get some for next week.
Get more. They're good.
All right. No, I'm going to get more because I have to get some of their Christmas ale too. All right. Good night, everybody. Thanks for listening. Cody, thank you as always. Great to see you. Say hello to the lovely wife and say hello to the adorable son and the dragon. Give the dragon a high five for me for wearing the hat. We will talk to everybody again next week. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate the support. We'll talk to you later.